Not all Caribbean ports are created equal. Some are absolute paradise while others, well, let's just say I'd be fine if I never stepped foot there again. In this video, I'm ranking Caribbean ports from worst to best based on my own cruise experience. Now, of course, this list is totally subjective based on my experience, and I know plenty of you are going to disagree with me on a number of these, but that's the fun of it, right? So make sure that you drop your own rankings in the comments below as we go, because I guarantee there's going to be some big debate on this one. Hello everyone, my name is Zach, I am The Traveling Man, and this is my ranking of Caribbean ports from worst to best. And kicking things off at number 16 is Freeport in the Bahamas. Now, Freeport has its charms if you plan an excursion, but right at the pier, it's one of the most underwhelming ports out there. You step off the ship, and instead of palm trees and turquoise water, you're looking at a shipping yard and some warehouses. And you really have to hop in a taxi or book an excursion to really get away from there and to any beach worth visiting on the island. And by then, you're spending a lot of your port day just traveling. It's quite a ways to get to some of the really good beaches on Grand Bahama. So for me, if you don't have a tour lined up, Freeport is almost like a wasted stop. Now, coming in at number 15, we have somewhere very close to Freeport because we have Nassau, also in the Bahamas. Now, this is probably the most controversial pick in the entire list because almost every cruiser has been to Nassau at some point, and some love it, some hate it. And here's my take though. Nassau is busy, it's chaotic, and it's just full of people that are trying to sell you something from the very second you get off the ship until the moment that you leave. But there are some highlights about Nassau. I'm talking about places like the Atlantis Resort, Junkanoo Beach, the nearby beach. You can actually walk to Junkanoo Beach from the cruise port, and it's a free beach that you can go to. And speaking of the cruise port, it's a brand new cruise terminal there with a lot of upgrades. But the overall vibe in Nassau can feel somewhat exhausting. I think of Nassau as one of those rite of passage ports because everyone should experience Nassau at least once. But for most cruisers, it's not a favorite. But be honest, how do you feel about Nassau? Do you love it or do you hate it? Now, number 14 goes to Ocho Rios, Jamaica. And let me be clear, the excursions that are available in Ocho Rios are incredible. And a lot of people go there just for them. I'm talking about places like Dunn's River Falls, the Blue Hole, river tubing. Those are some of the best adventure excursions in the entire Caribbean, hands down. But the port area itself is tough. It can feel overwhelming, and the aggressive taxi drivers and tour sellers right outside of the gates make a lot of cruisers a little bit uncomfortable. This is just one of those places where you absolutely need to have a plan if you're going there. If you've got an excursion booked, you're probably going to love Ocho Rios, but if not, it's a port that can leave a bad taste in your mouth. And speaking of excursions, I did want to mention that I've partnered on many of my videos with Shore Excursions Group. Shore Excursions Group makes it so simple to book your next shore excursion for your next cruise. You just visit their website. You can actually select the name of your cruise ship, the date that you're sailing. It'll import every single one of your ports, and you can just click View Excursion and go and look at all the excursions available for each port of call. They make it so easy. I trust them so much. I've used them all around the world, and they are incredible. They're always going to get you back to the ship on time. They promise you that. They even put money on it. Now, this video isn't sponsored or anything, but I do have a link down below. It is an affiliate link, so I do make a little bit of money, get a little bit of kickback. So if you want to support me, you can book through that link. It's down in the description below. Go check out Shore Excursions Group. For your next cruise, though, I promise I would not be telling you about them if I didn't love them. And I was using Shore Excursions Group long before I was doing YouTube. So go check them out for your next cruise excursion. And now coming in at number 13 is Cozumel, Mexico. Now, Cozumel is one of the most popular cruise ports in the entire world. And for good reason. There is a lot to do in Cozumel. I'm talking about snorkeling in crystal clear waters. You can visit ancient Mayan ruins, or you can just spend the day at one of the many beach clubs that are available on Cozumel. Now, personally, I love the all-inclusive beach club, beach day options that are available here. I'm talking about Mr. Sancho's and a few others that I've been to. They're a ton of fun, and you really can't go wrong with the unlimited food that's offered, the unlimited drinks, and the beach time. But here's the catch. If you do not book something in Cozumel. The port itself is basically just shops, bars, and people trying to sell you trinkets. It's basically like every other cruise port that you're going to go to. So don't get me wrong, I enjoy Cozumel, but it's just not a port I would want to just wing it in. You want to make a plan there, and you want to make sure that you know ahead of time what you're going to do so that you can make the most of your time in Cozumel, Mexico. Now, we're not going to go far for number 12 because we're going to go actually just down the coast a little bit to Costa Maya, Mexico. Now, Costa Maya is similar to Cozumel in some ways. It's very much a cruise-built destination. It's just for cruise ships. In fact, you get off the ship there, walk down the pier, and it's just that's it. But like it's a little village there that was built for cruise ships. But it does have some really cool things to offer right there in the port. And one that I always recommend to people is the Mayan healing ritual, where you can get a massage and just experience a bit of local culture without even leaving the terminal area. And it's really cool, all the different steps that you go through in that healing ritual. I really enjoy that. And beyond that, there are excursions to Mayan ruins and beach club that make Costa Maya worth a visit. It's not the most authentic port, I have to admit. It's very commercial there, but it's definitely fun if you know where to go. And if you really want to go to Costa Maya and experience this, you better go soon because Royal Caribbean has actually bought the port and they're going to develop that into their Perfect Day Mexico. So go there quickly if you want to go visit Costa Maya because it won't be around forever. Now, number 11 is Roatan, Honduras. And Roatan is a beautiful island with lush greenery and some of the best snorkeling and diving that you're going to find anywhere in the Caribbean. And if you're into marine life, you'll absolutely love it. But Roatan can feel a little rough around the edges if you don't stick with structured excursions or beach clubs. The areas near the ports, like Mahogany Bay, are nice, but very curated, while the rest of the island can feel a little less polished. Now, I think Roatan is one of those ports where the experience really just depends on what you do. It can be unforgettable or it can fall flat. And I know Roatan is another one where people have very, very controversial and decisive opinions. So let me know what you think about Roatan down in the comments as well. Coming in at number 10 is Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic. Now, this is a port that has come quite a long way in recent years. With nearby Amber Cove and Taino Bay, the cruise terminal themselves are the destinations here. They have pools and shops and restaurants right at the dock. You don't even have to leave the port to have a fun day, which is actually a big upgrade compared to some of the other stops on this list. And in fact, at Taino Bay, I've not done it yet, but I've been there a couple of times, but they have that lazy river there that actually looks pretty awesome. So if you're going to go there to Taino Bay, I highly recommend that you try out that lazy river because it looks really, really cool. But the real gems here at Puerto Plata are actually outside of the port. The cable car ride up to Mount Isabel, the waterfalls, the historic streets of downtown Puerto Plata. It's still developing as a cruise destination, but I think it's quickly becoming a favorite for many cruisers because there just are so many things to do there. Now, coming in at number 9 is Grand Turk, Turks and Caicos. Now, honestly, this might be the easiest port day that you're ever going to have because you're going to get off the ship and within steps, literal steps, it's not a long pier at all, you're standing on a gorgeous beach. I'm talking about stunning beach with some of the softest sand and the most crystal clear water. And there's also a giant Margaritaville right there, and they have a huge pool right at the dock, and there's plenty of places where you can grab a drink or just lounge by the water. And that Margaritaville pool, by the way, I have to say, that's for anybody to use. Anybody can pull up there and just get in that pool. You don't have to be a customer of Margaritaville to be able to get in the pool or enjoy the amenities that are there at the pool. But otherwise, for the most part, Grand Turk is not the most adventurous port. There's not a ton to do beyond that immediate area or the Margaritaville or the beach right there, but sometimes simplicity is perfect. For me, Grand Turk is the ultimate relax and recharge stop, and that's why I put it higher than Puerto Plata on the list. Would you rather have a packed excursion day where you're busy getting on buses, going from here or there and sightseeing, or just walk off of the ship and into the sand like you can at Grand Turk? And anytime Grand Turk is on the itinerary for any cruise, I get excited. It's truly one of my favorite places in the Caribbean. Now, at number 8, we have another one of my favorites. That's Bimini in the Bahamas. Now, Bimini is a very, very small island, but it's absolutely beautiful, and it's actually not that far from Florida at all. It's just about 50 miles east of Miami, but the water here is some of the clearest that you'll ever see in your life, and the beaches are just incredible. Now, Resorts World has built up the port area quite a bit, so you've got a tram that's going to take you right to a resort-style complex, complete with pools and restaurants and shops. And if you're with Virgin Voyages, this is often your beach club stop. And you're going to stop there on every single Virgin voyage because, again, this is their beach club. This is where they're going to have a big party day. But that beach club is just stunning. I love to spend time there. And if you're not going there on Virgin Voyages, it's still accessible to you. You do have to buy a day pass. And last time I was there, they did tell me you do need to buy that day pass through your shore excursions of the cruise line. So go to the shore excursions desk or book it before the cruise. Get that day pass so that you can go to the Resorts World Beach Club. But if you're going on Virgin Voyages, you don't have to worry about that. Everybody's admitted on Virgin Voyages. But the one downside is that Bimini can feel limited if you're looking for adventure because there's just not a lot. Again, it's a very small island. It's more of a laid-back beach day than a port with tons and tons and tons of excursions. But still, I think it offers one of the most relaxing stops in the Bahamas, and it's one of my favorite places to go in the Bahamas. One of my favorite things to do there that I did, well, one time when I went there, was to rent a golf cart. And you're going to see those golf carts. You get on that tram to go around the island, you're going to see those golf carts everywhere. They're renting them out. You can rent one of those golf carts and go just have the day. And I think they're north of $100 now for the day rental of the golf cart, but you don't even have to plan that out ahead of time. You can just get off the ship, take the tram, you'll see the golf carts, go and see how much it is, rent one, and enjoy your day. Now, number 7 goes to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and this one's a gem if you love history and culture, because Old San Juan, which is where your ship is going to port if San Juan's on your itinerary, it's like stepping into another world. It's got very colorful buildings, it's got cobblestone streets, it's got Spanish forts. I mean, what else could you ask for? There's just so much to explore on foot, and the food scene here is outstanding. In fact, it's the birthplace of the pina colada. What's not to love, right? It's not really a beach day kind of port, but that's okay. It doesn't need to be because San Juan gives you something different, and it's always a highlight for me when I see it on an itinerary. I will book a cruise just because San Juan is on an itinerary. I love to just get off there in Old San Juan. I have a path that I normally walk. There's a cat sanctuary there where they rescue cats, and I like to go see the little cats and pet them. Walk up to the forts. There's even a Walgreens right across from the port area. So maybe you need medication or you need just essentials for your trip. It's a good place to do it there. Because San Juan is part of the United States, you can actually use, for most mobile carriers, and you should check with your mobile carrier before you go, but you should be able to take your cell phone off airplane mode and use your cellular data and cellular service in San Juan. So there are so many pluses about it, and I'm telling you, if you've never been to San Juan before and you enjoy cruises, I don't know what you're waiting for because San Juan is amazing. But you got to promise me when you go that you'll get off the ship and walk around Old San Juan because it's truly a sight to behold. Some very interesting architecture, very Spanish city. I love it, and I can't rave about San Juan enough. Now, coming in at number 6 is not far from San Juan. It's St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands. St. Thomas has some of the most famous beaches in the entire world. Not even just the Caribbean, the entire world. I'm talking about places like Magens Bay and Sapphire Beach. It's also known for its duty-free shopping, so if you're looking for jewelry or liquor deals, then this is the place for you. And I love that St. Thomas is easy to explore independently. You can hop in a taxi and you can be at a beautiful beach in no time. You can take a bus up to the mountaintop, which is where they have their famous banana daiquiri. People go up there to get that. There are just so many things to do. You can take the cable car, which is right near the port area and the downtown area there in St. Thomas, right near Regal Port. The cable car to the top of the mountain and get some pictures of your ship. I actually just love pulling into the harbor there in St. Thomas and see all the little boats that are anchored there. It is one of those ports that really delivers a classic Caribbean experience, and I promise you're going to love it every single time. Coming in at number 5 is St. Martin or St. Martin, depending on which side of the island you're on. And that's because half of the island is Dutch and the other half is French. Now, this port is legendary because of Maho Beach, which is where the planes are going to land just feet above your head. And I've done this a number of times. I actually love it. It's so thrilling. I love airplanes anyways, and cruises, of course, and beaches. But you can stand right on that beach and watch the planes come in or go up to the fence and feel the jet blast as they take off. But beyond that, St. Martin is gorgeous with a fascinating blend of Dutch and French culture, amazing beaches, and great shopping. It's a port that has just a little bit of everything, which makes it one of the most well-rounded destinations in the entire Caribbean. Now, coming in at number 4 is Curacao. This is one of the most colorful and charming ports that you can visit in the entire world pretty much, not just the Caribbean, but the world. The Dutch Caribbean architecture, along with the waterfront in Willemstad, is just postcard perfect. It's also a very walkable city, which I love. You can explore on foot. You can get right off the ship and walk to the downtown area and just take in a lot of culture and still have time for a snorkeling excursion later if that's something that you're into. And Curacao definitely feels like it has a little bit more authenticity than some of the other heavily touristed ports, and that's what makes it so special. You go deep down into the Caribbean, and you're not getting as many cruise ships visiting down there, so it doesn't feel much like a tourist trap as somewhere like a Nassau or a Cozumel. And at number 3, we're going to talk about Curaçao's sister, Bonaire. Now, Bonaire is not as flashy as, say, Curacao or even Aruba, but it's an absolute paradise for divers and snorkelers. The reefs here are world renowned, and the island has this quiet, laid-back vibe that really sets it apart. And it's not going to give you the big resort-style experience, but if you're into nature and the underwater world, then Bonaire is unbeatable. And when I was there just about a year ago, actually, I enjoyed taking a tour all the way around the island. They have the flamingos here, the pink flamingos all around the island, so if you want to see them, they're all over. I mean, I couldn't believe how many we saw. We saw the first group and I thought, cool, we got to see some. And then we just kept seeing them all day long. And then they also have the salt fields there because they produce a lot of salt, like rock salt, table salt, there in Bonaire. And the process is amazing. They get it right out of the sea, actually, and then put that seawater out into these fields and then just dry it and bake it in the sun until all the water evaporates out and you're left with the salt. It's really cool. And you got to go to Bonaire and see it. Now, coming in at number 2, it may be very controversial that I put this at number 2, but I love it, and this is my list. And number 2 goes to Perfect Day at Coco Cay, which is Royal Caribbean's private island in the Bahamas. This place is incredible. If you love that all-inclusive, curated vibe, you've got water parks, you've got the largest freshwater pool in the entire Caribbean, you've got multiple beaches that you can just pull up to and just enjoy for the day. And there's even an exclusive beach club, actually a couple of beach clubs, because there's an adults only one, and then also the Coco Beach Club. And that's if you're into splurging and paying a little bit more for a little deluxe experience. And I highly recommend the Coco Beach Club if you've never done it before and want a deluxe experience. But Coco Cay is clean, it's safe, and it's built for cruisers. But, and this is important to remember, some people find it too artificial, like you're at a theme park instead of an island. And that's because everything has been built up. It was built and produced by the cruise line. I think it's fantastic for what it is, but I know that that's very polarizing. So let me know here. I want to ask the question. Do you prefer private islands like Coco Cay, or do you like exploring real islands like Aruba and Curacao and just having that cultured, truly a day in port experience? Let me know down in the comments what you think. And finally, you might be curious what my number 1 spot could be, or maybe you're already on to me based upon some of these other things I've said. But the number 1 spot on my list goes to Aruba. Aruba, to me, is the crown jewel of the entire Caribbean. And to me, it's the ultimate cruise port. It's sunny and dry almost year round, which means you're almost guaranteed good weather. It really doesn't rain there that much. It's actually a desert island. It's a desert climate, which I think is just so cool. And one of the reasons I find it so charming and love it so much. Aruba is safe, it's easy to explore, and there's an endless list of things that you can do. There's stunning beaches like Eagle and Palm. There is the desert landscape that I mentioned with rock formations. There's great nightlife if you're into that, or if your cruise might be doing an overnight there. And there's just a welcoming local vibe. They call Aruba one happy island, and the people there certainly are. They welcome you. They're some of the nicest people in the entire Caribbean. And Aruba has this balance of beauty, adventure, and relaxation that makes it my absolute favorite port in the Caribbean. I love visiting Aruba. It's kind of rare to visit Aruba on a Caribbean cruise because you have to go on probably at least an 8-day cruise to get down there. It takes a while. You're basically on the South American continent. And of course, Aruba is neighbors with Bonaire and Curacao, the ABC Islands as they're called. And all of them made the top 5 on this list, which I'm very proud of because I do love the ABC Islands. And that's it. That's my ranking of Caribbean ports from worst to best. So let me know, do you agree with me or am I way off base here? I really want to know what your personal favorites are and your least favorites, because I know everybody's got an opinion on this one, and this is one that I enjoy when I see people on ships and meet people on cruise ships when I'm cruising. We talk about our favorite port. So I'm glad I can get this video up, and hopefully we'll get a conversation going in the comments, because I do enjoy hearing what other people think. And maybe there's something that wasn't on this list. Maybe you're like, you didn't mention this port or that port. I probably just haven't been there, or maybe it's so long ago I forgot or haven't visited it enough to really formulate an opinion. But these 16 are a good starting point. I've certainly been to more than 16 islands in the Caribbean, but let me know if I missed something, what should be in here, where I should visit next. And if you enjoyed this video, please go down below, give me a thumbs up. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel, because I've got plenty more cruise reviews, ranking, and tips coming your way very, very soon. And if you're planning a Caribbean cruise, make sure you check out my other videos where I rank cruise lines, I rank the cruise ships. Recently, I even ranked cruise line food from worst to best. Which cruise lines have the worst food to which ones have the best. So make sure you go back and check that out if that interests you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next adventure.